Welcome to episode 25 of Ralph's Stuff. Tonight's all about content. Being an excerpt from week 3 of my Gorilla Vid workshop taught in the studios of URTV, Channel 20 in Asheville, North Carolina, the land of the sky. I think you might learn a little bit and enjoy it even if you don't produce videos. So, here we go. Hi. Tonight's show gives you a number of secrets of video production, but here's the big one right up front. Use good coffee. I use coffee beans, freshly roasted, and it makes wonderful coffee. So, brew your coffee, make your shows, and you'll be in good shape. So, support Public Access TV, Channel 20, Asheville, North Carolina, and drink good coffee. That is mighty fine coffee.
So that's okay where it is?
Yeah.
What if I need to want to do like a light in that little thing?
Well then,
you know, sometimes you have that light just hanging off.
Yeah, then you might want to use that to hang it off, or
okay, well, where would I hook it?
Underneath
your right here. That's where you put it, and you extend it over here and put your light there into that.
And you see let me show you here. In fact, I got one of those that I'm using over there.
I know that.
You can actually put that to your top. So you mount the camera there, and you got the extra mount there. On the bottom of your camera.
Okay, so
that can, for example, this can go right into there.
Yeah. And then this can go where?
Underneath your camera.
In there?
Yep. And if you're putting it on a
tripod,
you got the hole there. Or you can use the hole over here. There's several ways you can use it.
Okay, well, see,
you have it upside down, by the way, but.
Okay. All right.
Wait a minute, you've caught my fake fur.
Okay. All right, I think I got it.
Okay. Well, if you have any questions, email me and I'll help you on it. Okay, we ready to start? She brought some brownies. She makes wonderful brownies.
That's it.
So it's all right. It's all right to eat while I talk. Okay. Last week I mentioned Pat's idea of using fake fur as windscreen on your boom mics. So I found some. This fake fur is $1.99. Seems to be perfectly acoustically transparent. I've already tried it out. It works great. So instead of paying $200 for a blimp, spend $1.99 and then just put it around with some of those little bungee cords.
Some sort of like, wicked animal?
I bet you could, yeah. What's the inside of it look like? What type of backing?
That's probably just like a knit.
But you can put it right over your microphone. You still hear me? Doesn't seem to affect it. I ran several tests. I was very pleased with it. So if you were using this microphone outside and it was giving you a lot of trouble, just wrap this around it and bungee cord it, or use rubber bands.
So you wrap it with the fur?
On the outside.
On the outside, okay.
It'd work on the inside, it just looks weird. To review briefly, the last 2 classes, week 1 we had lights, basically, lighting. Lighting's very important. Week 2 we had sound, which was sound and music and cameras and stuff like that, but that's important too. Finally, the third leg of the tripod is content. You need your shows to be about something, or at least to have people perceive they're about something. In other words, you need to make them look professional. If you're trying to make a point about something and you've shot some great footage of it, it still probably won't come across unless you have a voiceover explaining the significance of what people are seeing. Dramatic music behind it helps set the mood. If it's humorous, light, bubbly music. If it's serious, use some nice classical or something and it'll work out good. So we go out and we shoot a lot of stuff. I shot I think, at least 2 or 3 hours of video this week. And it's pretty good stuff, but what I got is probably worthless unless I put the voiceover on it. You know, the gorilla goes out and he gets all his bananas and stuff, but he has to bring it back to his lair and make something good out of it. Banana brownies, banana bread, whatever. It has to, you've got to turn it into a product. The main thing you're going to be doing is editing, cutting, pasting. Does everyone know what I mean by cut and paste? Control C, Control V, the old famous shortcuts that work in every program on Windows. You do exactly the same thing in video. You've got to put together the program the way you want it. You've got to cut out the mistakes. Pat had a nice shot of my butt there a while ago, and so I'll probably cut that out. I know, yeah. But you got to fix things like that. If I have a coughing fit, which I very well could tonight because I still have a little bit of cough, I shouldn't have done that. Or if I hit the microphone and it goes kawump, you want to be able to cut those things out so people think you're professional. And even professional announcers have coughing fits. They usually have what's called a cough switch. It's a floor switch, and when you're sitting there talking and you're about to cough, you hit the floor switch, whomp, and then let up and you're back on, and people don't know you've coughed, which is exactly what the pros do. And we are becoming the pros. One way, we talked about having your own lighting and getting it cheap, like the lights we have here, having your own microphones, so with all that equipment you can accumulate footage, but it's no good to you unless you can edit it. Now, true, you can book time on the editing suites here and use that, but it's hard to get in. As the number of people and members in your TV grows, it'd be harder and harder to book time on it. You don't get on it enough to really become proficient in the program. It's much better to have your own system. And luckily, you can do it rather inexpensively. I've looked at a number of programs, and I have one installed on the computer I'll show you in a few minutes. You need a computer at home to do all this stuff. Most of you already have, all of you already have your computers. Your computer needs to be able to do several things. It needs to have enough disk storage space to handle video, and you need at least a 250 gigabyte drive at the minimum. And you probably want to hang bigger drives off your machine just to store it. Video takes up a lot of room. An hour worth of DVD for an hour's worth of video for DVD is probably at least 4 gigabytes. And you multiply that times 10 or 20, and pretty soon you're talking about serious storage problems. Also, you need all the working memory you can get. The minimum I would recommend is 1 gigabyte, and if you have 2 or more, you're in better shape. I've got 4 gigabytes of working memory in my large editing computer, and I still lock it up. You also need to be able to burn your own DVDs, because once you've edited the video, you've got to do something with it to get in other people's system. Here at URTV, they require that you turn in on DVD other public access channels and other commercial. Some of the commercial channels ask for it on tape because it's much better quality than on the DVD. And to get it on tape, all you got to do is copy the program back out of your computer into your camera. You've got a recorder built into the camera, and then you have the DVD and it's ready to go. I mean the DV tape, and it's ready to go to be submitted.
Oh, how much goes onto that tape? Like just when you roll it off your camera onto there, you can choose what you're recording and what you're not recording. Can't you do the same thing when you reverse it back onto your...
Well, yeah, if you have a 30-minute program, you've already controlled it. It'll go back as a 30-minute program.
Yeah, I was looking at this problem last night because I've got a 2.5-hour program.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going like, well, that's not going to go on.
Well, no,
what do I do?
You have to break it into... You have to break it into...
my camera and divide it up into 56-minute or 59-minute increments.
You can probably do it in your in your editing program, record an hour segment to the DVD, and then the next hour segment, and then a half-hour segment. You can do it on 3 DVDs, or three tapes for that matter, if you want to do it on tape.
Yeah.
If there's something that you're imagining at some point you may want to have as a commercial entity that you might want to sell it, is there some way that you would break it up that would be more accessible to the commercial medium?
I would store it on tape and keep your basic edited files in the computer so that if chances are, for example, they require that an hour program here is 58 minutes. Well, if you look at the cable channels, they say an hour program is 52 minutes or 54 minutes usually. And that's because they want room for commercials, which your TV does not have commercials. So by keeping your edited files, you can always change it to meet their requirements. Now, I will tell you guys this, is, if I may be less than modest for a minute. You know, I did 61 hour programs for Tex Ralph's Westerns, and they're being sold on Amazon.com. I mean, they're actually being sold. I'm making a little bit of money at doing it. But I'm negotiating with a TV network in England, which is looking pretty good. Keep your fingers crossed. And they're very interested in buying all 60, which will probably be for reasonably decent money, part of which I'm going to put back in your TV, because you got to take care of the people that got you your start, whether they meant to or not. And but one of the things they say is that they want me to shorten the program so they have more commercial room, which I can easily do because I still have all the original files. A lot of them, the B Western movies were usually less than an hour, so on almost all of them I had to pad them, put additional video at the end to make them come out to exactly 58 minutes, so cutting them is no problem. I'd be happy to do that.
Were you doing that initially with the idea that you were going to be selling them?
Well, probably yes, because I'm a professional. I've been writing for 30 years, and while I do a lot of stuff for free, and in the case of your TV, I'm doing it to learn. But you know, I make my living selling my creative output, so that possibility was always there, and certainly I've pursued ways to sell it. So yes, I guess is the proper answer, to be honest. But I don't have the Westerns on anywhere on the internet because I knew they were commercial. Now Ralph's stuff, you know, which I doubt I'm ever going to sell for money, is all over the places. There's segments on YouTube, and there's complete episodes on video.google.com, along with all the other URTV programs that people have put on. Asheville Global Report has all theirs on. Peter's done quite a few. There's several up there. All the chicken shows are on. Whoever does those. Okay. Any more questions about copyrights? It's important. Know what you're doing and protect yourself.
Well, what about when does music go into public domain, or recorded music?
Well, music is really, really complex because someone can record a song that was written in 1700, and they hold a copyright on the performance. It's like the compilation copyright I was talking about. So I know how to use public domain print. I know how to use public domain video. Public domain music, you just really got to be careful on. In fact, in most cases, I go ahead and buy a license on the music, so I'm sure that I'm protected.
What do you do? How do you do it?
Well, there are several ways. Like last week, I had the package of all the 60-some CDs of music. That's 60 hours of music that I have the right to use as many times as I want to. It's called buyout music. It's royalty-free music. And there's all sorts of deals on the internet. If you search for royalty-free music, you can buy a specific song, or you can buy CDs of lots of songs. Yeah.
So you do a search on royalty-free music.
Yeah. There's a lot of it. There's tons of it sold on
There's
eBay.
different qualities, so check around. I bought some that in the beginning is okay,
Classical.
but then I found some that was really, had a lot of soul to it, so you gotta shop around a little bit.
Yeah, but
And it
most,
seems like the better it is, the more expensive it is.
well, of course, yeah, but most of the sites that sell royalty-free music have samples you can listen to, so you can tell if it's what you want and the right quality, and does it have a bunch of instruments and so forth on it. Another reason you want to have your editing suite on your own computer is you'll be accumulating a lot of music and video clips and artwork and all sorts of things as you do different projects. So you're building a library right there on your system that you can use over and over again. And that's really worth a lot to you. So I could probably give you 1,400 other reasons why you need to have your own computer and edit your own stuff. And another reason would be having all your files there. So if you do hit the jackpot, or you don't have to do it for money. If you're espousing a certain cause and someone's making a video documentary, you could contribute to it and so forth. But it always pays to keep your stuff available. I could give you many examples of this in my writing. Stories that I wrote back in the 1970s that I either sold for literally pennies or just gave the right to different magazines to use it just to get a credit. Now I'm reselling and getting real money for it.
Okay, so going back to price,
Yes.
when you do a book or an article, how do you know how to price that? How do you know, is it?
Look and see what similar books or DVDs are selling for.
Yeah, but then,
And also look and see how much money you got in it.
okay, but then so,
You can, if you price too low, you can actually sell lots of books. And I've done this before and actually lose money on every book you sell. Because the book costs you more than the price you're selling it for. You got to know what all your labor costs are and so forth. Go ahead.
so if you have, I don't know, I guess I'm looking for some sort of percentage that you know, is kind of like a ballpark figure that makes it so that it's advantageous to you to sell the book. You know, what's the cutoff there? Since you've been in the authoring business for a long time,
Yeah.
what have you found? Where's the cutoff that you feel like you start to?
Well, if you're selling a book for $10, you need to have no more than $2 or $3 in it. Otherwise, you'll lose money.
7%.
As far as production is concerned?
Yeah, everything. Production, cost of printing, etc. And the reason for that is simple, and this applies to video also. Yes, the book has a retail price of $10 of the DVD, but most of the ones you're going to sell will be wholesale to stores that want to sell it in books. A store gets 40% off usually.
Yeah.
So you're selling your book for $6 then, well, you're okay, but if you got $3 in it, because you're still making $3. You sell one to one of the big national distributors and they want 55 or 60% off. Well, there you're selling the book for $4 and you're not making much, but they're buying a lot of copies at one time, so it works out. It averages out pretty good. But if you're selling it to, say, a book club wants 75% or more off up front. They're going to buy 1,000 books. But if you got $3 in the book and they're paying you $2.50 a book, do I need to do the math for you? You're not making money.
I think it would come down to supply and demand. I mean, that's
Yeah,
how
exactly.
desirable your product is. That's just basically.
Books, the book market is a lot more structured than the DVD market simply because DVDs are a lot newer. They'll eventually stratify, but right now there's all sorts of ways of selling DVDs, so you can make money doing it.
So how do you mean? What's all sorts of ways of selling DVDs?
Well,
If
Amazon.
If Rick's got his I'm selling the Weaverville board
Weaver
meetings.
Vegas, Weaver Vegas. We call it
Weaver Vegas. And I know it's a hot item.
Well, actually, it could be. You know, there could be a lot of people in Weaverville that would be interested in what their city council's up to, or town council, or village council, whatever it is in Weaverville.
You know, you could have a character there on the town council too. There's a good example of that in San Francisco, just real quick. They've got a a city manager who is a male gender, but now he wants to be female. So, you know, if you've got that going on, a cross-dresser coming into the meetings, you know, some people may like to pay for that. I personally wouldn't, but
Yeah.
that's what's going on.
That's a little bit more than a cross-dresser.
That's a wannabe, I reckon.
That's a gender bender.
Yeah. Well, there's
Not me.
when you think just in the United States, there's over 200 million people now. There's a market for almost everything. Now, there may not be a huge market for Weaverville Town Council, but on how to make a hat, there'd be a big market, for example. I'm sure you can come up with programs that people would be interested in. You know, of course, the bookstore makes more than anybody because they usually get it for at least 40% off. And since the Great Depression, bookstores have had the right of return for a year and a half. In other words, if they don't sell it, they send it back to the publisher, and we have to usually give them credit, but sometimes we have to actually give them their money back. So essentially, publishers are financing bookstores. And every big distributor who's ever tried to change that has had their plow clean. They've been forced out of business. So, you know, it's just something you have to accept. Now, that's not true in DVDs. And most stores that sell DVDs don't know anything about returns. So once they've bought it, they've bought it. So there's another reason I'm more interested in DVDs than publishing a whole lot more books, although we're all continuing publishing books too.
Coming along in your equipment to do DVD reproduction for business.
I've been looking at and deciding on which one I want to buy. It's about a $4,000 investment, but not much. And the DVDs that system puts out will look just like the ones you buy in the store.
Well, when are you going to be fired up for that?
Sometime this summer. See, it's all, the one thing I have learned finally after 30 years in publishing is it's all about unit cost. Now, the DVDs, we are selling all the Western DVDs and the Rapid Ralphs too, but I'm having to pay about $8 a piece for them from Amazon. I can buy them wholesale because I'm the publisher of them. So
you send your tapes to them. Do you send tapes or do you send a DVD that
they take DVDs, so it's pretty easy. But I did have to go through and put in menus and things like that. But that's 5 minutes for each one. It's not bad. But the problem with that is that's the reason I had to price the DVDs at $15. I'd rather sell them for $8 or $9. You know, an old movie like that. Yeah, that would be a better price. But I can't do it if I'm paying $8. But if I'm reproducing my own, which I can do for around $1 or so, including the case and the DVD, buying them in bulk, then I can sell them low price and make real money. And your shows too, and other people on your TV. May not sell many, but it would help you to have them to show.
We're thinking about doing, taking a show and trying to approach the homeschooling market, making educational programming that is also entertaining. It would be travel-based. It would be using the format that we're already using, only polishing it. We use Ian's World. We do Ian's World.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a really rough format now. It's intentionally rough. We try and polish it up if we were going to do this. And then we would also want to do some publishing, which we were thinking about trying to do, like desktop publishing that would include like home study guides.
Yeah.
That would go along with it. And I don't know too much about desktop publishing, and I don't know if that's something feasible or not.
Well, I'll be glad to talk to you about that,
Yeah. All right. Cool.
because I do know about it. That's
Yeah, well, it sounds like you've done some.
far more than I'd like to, yeah. And the homeschool market is big. I've been trying to figure a way to break into it for years, and there are various distributors out there that specialize in it, and they sounds like something they might like. And you've certainly already got a base of stuff built up.
We've got some things.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how marketable what we've got is already. It is there. And it's like we've got a bulk of material, but we've been kind of loose with it. So
Yeah, well, but still, you've got a head start. You can smooth it out some, whatever it takes to do that. Okay, any other questions so far? Okay, your computer should be reasonably recent, like the last couple of years or so. Unfortunately, computer technology and operating systems are changing rapidly. In a Windows machine, XP or Vista is what you need now. In Macintosh, is it OS 10 or OS 11 now?
It's OS 10 point. It's Panther.
Panther, yeah, it used to be Tiger. So.
Yeah.
But that's
Bigger cat.
that's a good operating system. It's Linux based.
Yeah.
Next step is really what it started as. But you need the latest system because that's what's being supported by all the software manufacturers. It's unfortunate, but you got to do it. Also, you should make sure that your computer has a FireWire input, so you can easily download digital video from your camera. If you don't have the FireWire port, I know all the Macintoshes come with that, but if you got a Windows computer and you don't have it, you can buy a board for $30 to $50, Richard, that would work. Well, you got Macintosh too, don't you?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
But it does have FireWire.
Okay.
Port.
Like for example, this laptop didn't have one. I bought this plug-in module that has two. That's how we're getting the video from the camera to here. That's one of the applications we're going to talk about in a few minutes. Now, okay, now you're ready to go if you got all that stuff in your computer. And it's not much, it's pretty standard stuff now.
Question about burners.
Yeah.
Now my Mac comes with a burner built in.
Yeah. DVD or CD?
DVD.
DVD, okay.
But aren't there external burners that will burn much more quickly than maybe the standard one that comes?
Well, not a whole lot more quickly yet. They have 8 and the 16 times one. They're still much slower than CDs.
Mine will burn a 28-minute program in about 2 hours. Is that
Yeah.
about right?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I've got a really fast one, and it still takes.
Yes, that's right.
I've got a really fast one. It still takes over an hour. So you just start burning and do something else. You can still use your computer.
Spin it overnight. No, I don't mess with it when it's burning. I don't mess with it when I'm editing because I feel like that little computer is working its little heart out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't go surfing on Netscape. I don't go shopping on eBay. I just do the editing.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
I'm the multitasking type. I'll run it into the ground. I just keep adding stuff, and sometimes it catches up. Yeah.
Flashes, yeah. See, I hate it. But I've been working for 45 minutes and done a lot of editing, and boom, there it went.
Yeah. Well, go to ralphwroberts.com to see this show again.